Oh, boy. Let's go to Sal in San Mateo. I think he wants to crush Brock Purdy's dreams. Hi, Sal. What are you doing?
Good. Just driving home from work.
Okay.
Just to preface, just to let you know, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan living in the Bay Area.
Okay.
But I just think I think it's more of the system than Brock Purdy. A lot of those big plays are 2-yard passes to the house. I think you guys have the best skill players around them in the NFL. You guys are definitely the cream of the crop. But I feel like if you plug in any other quarterback, it's still the same. That's my personal preference.
So you weren't listening an hour and a half ago, were you, Sal?
No, I was not. I just listened on my drive home.
All right. Are you ready? Yeah. Are you ready for the stat?
Yes.
Because I've already coached all of our listeners that whenever somebody does what you just did, then you can say this back and then the conversation's over. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. The last 10 quarterback MVPs in the NFL have averaged 48% of their yards coming from yak. In other words, the receiver doing the work. 48% of their yards. That's the average for an NFL MVP last 10 times that it's happened. Just as an example, Mahomes last year, a little higher than that. 54% of his passing yards came from yak, his receivers doing the work. Brock Purdy, 48.5. Now what?
Yes, but I feel like Mahomes is throwing it 15 yards downfield.
Right, you feel that way, but my stat that I just gave you, right? Yes, you feel that way, but the stat that I just gave you shows that you feel that way, but it's not actually that way.
I just don't feel. I feel like it'd be the same with any other quarterback. That's,
right. I know. Sal, I totally get it. A bunch of you feel that way. You're just wrong, though. That's all. It's okay.
Yeah. Yes. And I hope we get the 2 seed and we meet at the NFC Championship.
Boy, I hope, because the Niners won by 32, and I don't think they'd be scared. Sal, thank you for calling. Thank you for maturely handling that. I'm telling you, it is perception. It's perception. If you feel that way, it's perception. And that's fine. I get it. I totally get it. The Niners' skill position players are incredible. Shanahan's a great play caller, and Brock's running around out there, and he looks like your neighbor's son. I totally get it. Perception, though. And that's fine. I just hope, and I hope that most people are like Sal. When somebody challenges back, just go, oh, okay.
Well, that's one stat.
Yeah.
That is a stat.
But it's perception.
Well, it's perception based on the stat that you used, and you could look at other stats that would indicate otherwise in terms of intended air yards per pass.
Which are actually pretty high.
He's, I think, 14th in intended air yards. 14th.
He was 7th before last week's game. We did this stat. And
right.
More than Mahomes.
Right now, he is he ahead of Mahomes still?
He was when we did this.
Oh, yeah, Mahomes is way down.
Yeah.
Yak per completion, he's number 1. So he's getting more yards after the catch per completed pass than anybody else in football.
Right, which that stat solely saying that the other people who have the same numbers of him have taken more throws to do it. That's like in contrast to the 9.6 yards per attempt being so high because the Niners don't throw the ball as much.
Well, he does have the 4th most yak yards just in raw yards after the catch in football. So, where his percentage lies, because he's at 1,549 yards after the catch.
48%.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is 4th highest. So he is benefiting a lot from yards after the catch.
No, your stats don't work. No, he's 4th because that means he's got a lot of yards.
But he's, I think, 7th in total yards or 8th he's 7th in total yards.
So he's top 7. Like, in other words, like someone's going to have worse numbers than Brock. In other words, less yak yards because they've just got less yards.
Correct.
Total. Yeah. 48%.
There's going to be guys who have more yak yards who have more yards. But in terms of...
Right. So we're talking about percentages. And I'm not saying he's blowing the rest of the league out of the water. I'm saying he's commensurate with the rest of the good quarterbacks in the league.
Right. All good offenses have good yards after the catch in general because, you're not going to all just air it out completely down the field and connect on 30-yard passes that get caught and the guy goes no further after a 30-yard pass in the air.
And I'd argue that's a terrible way to play football. I mean, the reason the Niners offense turned it on after its first 2 drives are because Brock Purdy was under pressure, and they decided to change. Like, the way you beat pressure is the same way Stafford did it to the Niners back in week 2. Get the ball out of your hands right away and then see if the linebackers and DBs can keep up. Well, they couldn't.
Right.
So why would you do anything else?
I wonder what the Yak numbers were yesterday.
Well, probably excessive.
Yeah. I mean, you had Debo catch one and go 40 on his own.
And then you had 2 where they broke, like, tackles where they were dead to rights and ended up in the end zone.
Juwan Jennings' touchdown was about half Yak because he caught it at about the 15 and went in from there. So it's not to disparage a quarterback who is benefiting from having guys who can catch the ball and also do something with it. And also, yak yards, in many ways, is a byproduct of accuracy.
A great point. It's a great point. You know what I mean? And like,
so that shouldn't be used to denigrate a QB.
Thank you.
Because you're able to throw it to a guy in stride. That makes you a dink and dunker, or that makes your offense somehow less potent.
Riddy on YouTube just said to us, nitpicking the game like this has ruined the NFL. I don't think anything's ruined the NFL, but I'll agree to this extent. And you've watched me do it. There's a visceral reaction when offenses come out and score 30-plus points, and you'll have, for example, in this case, a quarterback who is distributing the ball, he is using his legs, he is ad-libbing, he is also running the system correctly, he is delivering accurately, and his team is winning consistently. And we'll come in and go, yeah, but there are other good players on the team, so it doesn't count. What are we talking about? And we've talked about this before. No one wants to compare Brock to Joe Montana. Fine, neither do I. Here's what I will say. If Joe Montana played today, you'd discredit him. How is it different? You would have walked in here and said, I know he hit Jerry Rice on a slant, but that's Jerry Rice. He's the greatest receiver of all time, and he hit Jerry Rice on a slant, and then Jerry took it 55 yards. So that's Jerry, not Joe. I just want everyone to acknowledge we didn't used to do this to players.
We didn't have the data that we have now.
Yeah, I guess I wish we didn't. Although I think a lot of the data actually supports Brock, but we ignore those parts of it.
You can look at whatever parts you want, and I'm just offering up other pieces of data to, keep the conversation going. It's point counterpoint. It's not to say that Brock Purdy's not good, but, it's just to look at the actual numbers in terms of how far does he throw it, how much does he benefit from yak yards compared to other quarterbacks and the rest of it. But the difference between 48% yak yards for Brock and 56 for Patrick Mahomes is about 50 yards total over the course of a season. So
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to do the math. If you're talking
Mahomes is number one in yak yards.
Yeah, if you're talking about someone who throws for 4,000 or 4,500 yards, that kind of percentage, I would argue, is more than 50.
Yeah, it's about 260 yards different, so you're talking about 20 yards a game. That's the number I was looking for, yards a game.
Okay.
So Mahomes is getting 20 yards more per game of yak, yards after the catch, than Brock Purdy
Which is fascinating because no one likes any of their receivers.
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, if you, to me, that should be eye-opening to people. Like,
well, he doesn't have as many yards as Brock Purdy.
That too. Sky Moore and Rashee Rice are apparently doing more for after the catch than Debo and Brandon and Kittle. It's crazy, but
and Travis Kelce too.
Yeah, absolutely. Waterman in Corte Madera. Hey, Waterman, what are you doing?
What's up, fellas? How are we doing?
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to, after listening to you guys, I would like to make a comment on those stats, of course. But first, I just wanted to say, it has been brought up, but I really want to reiterate how incredible the defense was on those 2 first quarter drives, holding the Eagles to just 2 field goals. That really, in my opinion, kept the Niners in the game. So where they were a touchdown away from taking the lead, of course. And, we don't have to beat a dead horse, but I just wanted to make that point. But as far as Brock goes, what you just said, what you were talking about, all the stats there, Willard, I I can't. I mean, you obviously can't lie with the stats, and that's the problem we have as a bigger issue in this, I will say, country now. Is it's all about your feelings. You know, like, oh, I don't feel he's this way. But well, I just gave you the statistics. What do you mean? You know, this is what's happening. This is the league. This is where he sits. He's not even number one in that. He's this. Yeah, but I just don't feel that. You know, okay, that's fine. We can all have our feelings, but if you don't align it eventually with what's actually happening, you get these people and these pundits who go, yeah, well, I just don't feel he's you know, oh, well, he's got good receivers. Oh, well, he's got a good system. I think any quarterback can be in the pocket and throw that. Well, guess what? Not every quarterback can. We had Jimmy Garoppolo, and he didn't do what Brock is doing. Not even close. You know, Trey got hurt, so we really kind of don't know, but he wasn't the guy either. You know, and then I'm sorry, I can't remember the guys before that all of a sudden, but this is the first guy to take this system, if you want to say the system, Kyle's system with the Niners, and turn this thing into something awesome. So it just kills me when people just want to just beat this kid down. I mean, give him a break.
That's the first time they've had Christian McCaffrey, though. We got to be fair about that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
he's being sarcastic. Waterman, he's being sarcastic.
They didn't have Brendel and Burks and Burford either in the interior. You got to keep it honest.
Did you see the numbers against Waterman? Great call. Thank you.
Rack that guy.
Did you see the numbers against the blitz? Numbers against the Eagles blitz yesterday?
Didn't see it, no. It was probably pretty good.
0 incompletions.
Well, Brock was untouched for the majority of the game.
10 for 10, 2 tutties against the blitz.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to, you know what? I've reached this point. I don't care what anybody says about Brock anymore. I just want you to.
Do.
No, in this regard.
Okay.
Because people are right. It is partially circumstantial based on the time in which we're talking about it. Here's what I would love for people to admit. We've never done this to a QB before. Ever.
Done what?
We've never
criticized him?
We've never taken numbers like this. Number 1 rated in the league, top completion percentage, TD to interception ratio off the charts, 4 of the top rated games by a quarterback, 4 of the top 8.
Well, QB rating.
Whatever.
Am I right?
Wins 9-3. We've never taken that and gone, nah. Like normally our world is we want to love the quarterback.
Well, we love him.
We love him. But a lot of people don't. We want to love the quarterback. Do this with Jalen Hurts. I've tried to say this all year. You know who Jalen Hurts has? He's got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Tua is an even better example.
And Dallas Goedert. And nobody says, wow. But good players to throw to. His numbers are nowhere near as good as Brock.
Tua's an even better example for me because he's going to wind up maybe getting 5,200 yards passing and no one's going to say, well, Waddle and Hill. And
all he's got to do is
Echan.
Tua, just throw it as far as you can. That's what it looks like he's doing on half the plays. They're just going to huck it. And Tyreek is the only one who can catch up to it.
I've won 4 in a row. Thank you, Tyreek.
Brother, I got him.
My team is hot.
I got him on 2 teams.
He's so fun to have.
He is just unbelievable.
Fun.